there, and welcome back to the SUSE booth at KubeCon NA 2024. It's the first day of KubeCon, and we have Gari Singh from Google here with us today. Gari, welcome to KubeCon, and I want to first start off by asking you, how has KubeCon been for you this time around? It's just the first day, so I'm not expecting a long-drawn answer, but for sure you have had some good experiences on the show floor, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's been pretty good. I mean, yesterday, selfishly, we ran our own little, we had our own event, pre-event, and good showing there. So it was always great to see some new and old faces, customers here. But yeah, I think the vibe is good here. It's nice, all the booths, checking out people here. Pretty crowded.
Yep.
So yeah, I think all in all, looks to be another good KubeCon.
Yep. And from the buzz that I've heard around a lot of the projects and new projects that have just gone from sandbox to incubating and incubating to graduate. This seems to be one of the events to not miss this year. But scaling back a little bit, what are some of the trends that you are noticing on the show floor and from the conversations that you've been having so far?
Yeah, I think there's a mix of it. I think some people come up to us and still ask us some stuff about AI still there.
Yeah.
Probably not as much of the huge buzz. I mean, not that it's not a buzz, but not as the main thing that was out there. I haven't noticed any one solid trend. I guess I would just say there's the thing that's happened in the last few KubeCons, way more users here. I think a lot of users coming from, more traditional enterprises, people who are getting deeper and deeper into Kubernetes, right? So there's a lot of questions on just how do I do stuff? What frameworks are going on? Here's our use cases. So I find that pretty exciting, right? Because now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes of let's use Kubernetes, and solve some real problems.
And talking about using Kubernetes to solve real problems, from the perspective of being someone at Google and working on Kubernetes, managing it at scale, what are some of your thoughts on it? What are some of the trends that you see and any insights that you can share on it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's really two parts, and maybe we divide it up this way, but maybe not. I think we sort of talk about customers who are kind of running a few clusters or sort of single cluster. So there's sort of the concept of single cluster manageability, scalability, how do I work on my app. So things like cluster auto scaling, finding capacity, that type of stuff. And believe it or not, there's still people who are at that. But I think now we're starting to see people more interested in one. They either need more than one cluster, they have it, whether it be teams and management, et cetera. And then it comes down to, how do I manage and operate and control all these clusters, right? How do I have visibility, observability into what's actually going on? Is there a way for me to have common config and deployment across all of them, right? And doing that, I think at scale, always proves to be a bit tricky for folks, especially as they try to build their sort of platform teams.
Yeah. And I know that you have GKE out of Google, so how does it help in solving some of these concerns and challenges that you just spoke about?
Yeah, great. I think we, maybe two sides. So on the cluster side, I think we've tried to focus a lot on some of the day two operations and auto scaling, things like that. Some people may know aware of our autopilot mode, right, where we've tried to make kind of Kubernetes nodeless, right, handle the most common operations and stuff for you. And still, trying to work and make advancements in cluster auto scaling. We just came out with a new thing called compute classes for capacity finding. But then on the other side, as we were talking about, the multi-cluster side, we have a an enterprise edition. We've really been focused on how do you, I think at two levels. So how do you scale out and manage a fleet of clusters, which could be across one or more regions, right? And then how can we help people actually scale out their teams? Right, because a lot of times, you have one team doing it, but as it starts to grow in enterprises, right, I've got all these clusters, got to manage those, got to have a common layer, right, a common platform, but then you have the individual teams who you want to grant access to clusters, and they want to have some level of control and visibility. So how do you mesh that? And I think we've, we've been doing some projects around what we call fleets and teams to do that, and I think, platform engineering is still a pretty hot topic around that. So
absolutely. I mean, I was just talking to a few folks here, and there was a massive attendance at the conference, the co-located conference around platform engineering. Yeah, so again, coming back to our partnership, that's SUSE's partnership with Google. What are some of the things that we've been working on, and what are some of the things that you're excited to be working on in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, I think, from a partnership perspective, it's interesting, right? I mean, I'm specifically on the Kubernetes side, but obviously, like in Google Cloud, we have SUSE, we have Linux, so we have the, the great heritage and partnership. From that perspective, I'm running VMs, and then, I think when we look at how people now, believe it or not, people don't just run on GKE. It's hard for me to believe sometimes, but no, they run on-prem, they run in different clouds. So things like working with like Rancher with SUSE Rancher. It's always hard to get the branding, but Rancher Prime, for managing clusters, moving things around. So I think we've made that available in the marketplace now, right? Done some blogs on that. So I think we're seeing a lot of command on that. Tried to make it easier as APIs sync. Just work on like the things to make sure the thing just works beautifully. And then I guess the artist currently known as SUSE Security, which is a new vector. And I know that's an interesting one because security is always big, and people like to have the same security across all their vendors. Perhaps they like to do it across VMs. So obviously that's not our sweet spot. And being that pluggable security layer, I think we've had a great partnership there. And I know you guys have SUSE has done a great job of really focusing on how do you do the same thing for Kubernetes clusters that you've been doing for a long time, on the sort of on-prem and cross-cloud. So.
Right, and one last question before we let go of you and you get to enjoy the rest of KubeCon. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to over the next couple of days? Like any sessions that you're planning to attend, or any particular events that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I really want to go out. I want to spend a little bit of time in the CNCF ecosystem. Just see what's going on in there. The observability and security spaces are always good. Want to venture out, and I think just go out. Me personally, just want to sort of get the pulse out there. And I'm sure there's going to be people land announcements at KubeCon. So I'm sure there's pretty great. I guess I could give you a sneak peek of ours.
Yes.
We're going to announce tonight, or I think we might have put the blog out. We're now supporting super huge clusters of like 65,000 nodes for like the biggest like training jobs out there.
Wow.
So we're excited about that, see the reaction to that, but also just want to see what everybody else is talking about, and figure out what the new hot trend that we should be aware of is as well.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for stopping by today, and hope you have a wonderful rest of the KubeCon week here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.